Okay, so I am cooking for a big dinner tonight, and I'm doing lamb shanks. But before I go through the whole menu, let's get on to these lamb shanks. I have marinated these lamb shanks since this morning. I'm dusting them in flour right now, and I'm about to brown them in extremely hot oil. You want to just get in there, brown it, crisp it up on the outside just to lock in the flavors. And you're going to shake the excess flour off the lamb shanks. And don't overcrowd the pan. So I'm doing 3 lamb shanks at a time. And you're going to brown all sides of it. That's going to be about 5 minutes to brown all sides. I used I put everything but the kitchen sink in my lamb shanks. Worcestershire, I put a Korean barbecue marinade, I put garlic, fresh rosemary, salt, tons of fresh ground pepper. And you know what else is great? I took some garlic, I took some sage and tarragon, and I chopped it up really fine. And I made a little pocket in between the bone and the meat of the shank. And I shoved it in there. So I made a rub so that the inside of the meat is also seasoned. And as it cooks, it's going to release the flavor. Woo! This is going to be delicious. It's going to take me about 2 hours to cook the lamb shanks, but well worth the wait. And I'm making a huge mess right now. Let me see if I can show you what's going on. Here are the lamb shanks. I have it on high heat. And again, like I said, I'm just going to brown those. This is the marinated lamb, or what's left of it. You want to dredge it in flour before you put it into the hot oil. But what browning does is it really locks the flavor of the meat in. Especially if we're going to be cooking it in liquid, which we're going to be doing. We're going to be braising. And what's going to happen to these brown bits that are on the lamb right now, they're going to fall down into the drippings and make this deliciously rich au jus that we're going to take and put wine and blah, 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 and make this gorgeous sauce to put on top. So you want these like rich dripping pieces. That's why it's very important to just lock in the flavor and get that crust on the outside. This is what it looks like after. Really dark golden brown, almost like what fried chicken would look like. We're going to reserve the same fat and olive oil that I used to brown the lamb shank in. I'm now going to put my vegetables in. And what I did is I took 1 red onion, chopped it up, diced it. I took 4 small organic carrots, diced it. You want to try and keep the same size of all the vegetables, therefore it can cook through properly and at the same time. And I'm going to add just a little bit more olive oil, just 1, 2 around the pan. Give that a chance to heat up. You know what I did forget, and how could I? How could I forget garlic? So, besides carrots and celery, I wanted to do something different, and I took some mushrooms, some oyster mushrooms, chopped it up, and I'm going to throw it in there with my veggies, just to give it an earthy, woodsy flavor. I'm grabbing pre-peeled garlic right now, and probably about 8 cloves of those. First, I'm going to add the carrots and celery. I'm going to turn my heat to a high medium now. These I'm adding first because they take longer to cook. But we're not going to fully cook the vegetables right now because we have a long road to go. Vino for the chef, of course. Who can cook without wine? More lights so you can see what I'm doing. This is like gangster on your Mac computer cooking class here. Hey, whatever works, right? So now I'm going to add my onions. I have red onions. Again, you want this to be on a high medium. I'm going to throw in my garlic now. This is not the dish if you don't like garlic. If you don't like garlic, I don't trust you. Because something's wrong with you if you don't eat garlic. Now I'm going to get ready to add some wine and chicken stock. You can use veal stock or beef stock. I mean, it's really beautiful how the vegetables are cooking in the drippings and the juice of the lamb. And it's just going to take on that extra flavor. Oh, my poor kitchen looks like a mess. So, check that out. These are the veggies. And I will be back when I'm ready to put the lamb in. Hi, I am back. So right now, I threw in my oyster mushrooms and I chopped them quite coarsely. I'd say about 1 inch thick because I want to have a different texture. And oyster mushrooms can fall apart after a long period of cooking. They're going to reduce tremendously. So a little thicker is better. And I just like to have that difference, like I said, of texture going on because the vegetables are going to fall apart by the time I'm done cooking them. And I want to have a little bit of chew in there. So I just threw in the oyster mushrooms and mushrooms absorb a lot of the oil. So I'm going to add some more olive oil to the pan. 1 and 2. And cheek some more. And I just want to get the mushrooms to shrink down just a little, so I'm probably going to give it another 2 minutes. I'm going to add a little more salt and pepper to it right now. I have the oven preheated at 350 and I made a boo-boo. I should have preheated it earlier, but I was too busy talking to you and drinking wine. So, oh well, it's not going to be a big deal, but you want to preheat your oven in advance. You want it to be ready at 350 at the right temperature, ready to throw your meat in. I'm going to taste. Ow, that's hot. That is so good. Ooh, that mushroom just adds that little bit of funk that I want, that little earthiness. So now I have half a cup of red wine. I might add a little more, but I will keep you posted. So I'm going to pour in my half a cup of gorgeous red wine. And I'm using a Merlot. And it's a wine that I've had for a couple of days that's been sitting out, so it wouldn't be so great to drink. So those are the perfect wines to cook with. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to add some dates. I'm going to do like a handful of prunes and just cut them up into bite sizes. We're going to add 2 cups of chicken broth or stock. And then I'm going to layer the shanks in here. Cover it, shove it in the oven, and watch it. And I'm probably going to do about 1.5 to 2 hours. But basically, I want the meat to almost fall off the bone. Like I said, I like a little texture. So, my oven is ready. I hope I can fit all of this in here. Ooh, it's going to be a tight squeeze. Alright, I'm going to throw this bad boy in the oven, covered, and then move on to other things. Catch you in a second. So, I feel bad that I'm not in some cute little outfit for you. I look crazy. I think I've been wearing this for about 2 days now. Oh, okay, so the lamb is in, and I forgot a major ingredient. I took about a small cupped handful of saffron and saffron threads and threw it into the lamb, which gives me a kind of that touch of Moroccan exotic. So that's in there. I'm going to leave that in there for about 2 hours and watch it closely.